Take a look at this video. It is a very familiar scene for anyone with a backyard in the summer. A tiny piece of tape bursting off a brightly colored inflatable pool as water aggressively sprays out everywhere. You dry the plastic, stick on a new patch, and hope it holds. But by the next afternoon, the pressure builds up, the tape peels back, and you are right back where you started. Thousands of years ago, humanity faced a similar problem, but on a much larger scale. People were constantly making mistakes, and those mistakes created leaks in their relationship and connection to God. Just like that plastic pool, this broken connection needed a fix, and to patch things up, people relied on a very specific type of helper. In the biblical text, these helpers were called priests. Their main job was to stand in the gap, making sure that vital connection to God stayed working. There was a major catch. These priests were regular, everyday humans. That meant they made their own mistakes and carried their own flaws. Because human flaws kept getting in the way, they were stuck in an endless loop, placing a sacrifice on the altar day after day. And when one priest passed away, a new one stepped right in to continue that exact same exhausting cycle. This old system of priests acted exactly like the tape on the kiddie pool. It helped in the moment, but it was completely incapable of providing a permanent fix. That brings up a logical question. If that old way of using temporary human priests was perfect, why would God need to send a new one? The answer involves a mysterious character from the text. Look at this image of an ancient king holding an olive branch. His name is pronounced Melchizedek, and he was very different from the regular priests. His name translates to the King of Righteousness, and because he was the king of a place called Salem, he was also known as the King of Peace. The text leaves out a lot of his details on purpose. It doesn't record his birth, it doesn't mention his death, and he didn't inherit his job just because of who his ancestors were. The story of Melchizedek proves a crucial point. A priest can be something far greater than a regular person who steps into a role and eventually passes away. Using Melchizedek as the model, God made a promise. He decided to replace the temporary system with a new high priest whose role would never end. To guarantee this, God used an oath. An oath is a super strong, unbreakable promise made directly by God himself. This diagram shows the exact terms of that promise. The solid, unbroken golden line extending across the screen represents God's specific words. You are a priest forever. With that single statement, God declared that the exhausting era of the temporary fix was coming to an end. To fulfill that oath, someone had to step in and become the promised high priest. That ultimate hero is Jesus. He possesses a qualification that sets him completely apart from the old priests. As we see in this video of a glowing diamond resisting massive anvils, Jesus has an indestructible life. Because he lives forever, his term as a priest never expires. No one ever has to replace him. He is also entirely holy, pure, and perfect. He carries none of the human flaws that tripped up the priests who came before him. Having an indestructible, flawless life is exactly what qualifies Jesus to be the ultimate permanent fixer. Think back to that leaky kiddie pool and the old priests who had to exhaustingly offer sacrifices day after day. Because Jesus was perfect, he did not need to offer daily sacrifices to cover up his own mistakes. Instead, he took a single final action. This diagram shows exactly what happened, a massive golden bridge assembling instantly to replace the tiny snapping planks. Jesus offered himself once for all. Now, the text says he intercedes for us. That means he is always there, speaking to God on our behalf and cheering us on. We no longer have to rely on temporary tape to reach God. Through Jesus, our connection is completely, perfectly, and forever fixed.